New level of losing, the deja vu gut punch. The Bills, they miss on the 44-yard wide right. I almost like, rarely in sports when you're watching sports do you go, I mean, we see everything. All we do is watch sports. We gamble on sports. We just are immersed in it. Rarely do you have the moment where you're like, oh my God, that's what happened? He pushed it right? That's how they're going to lose? And you're just like, 35 years of football history comes flying at you in this one moment. Chiefs win. Mahomes beats Allen again. And somehow Scott Norwood is now involved in this game.
I almost think like if Sean McDermott could have talked to him before he went out to make that kick, like, listen, if you're going to miss,
just
shank it left or get it blocked.
Just get it blocked. Just kick it in the head.
Or kick the holder in the head. Do something different. It can't be far right. The only thing I'll say to Bills fans, and I have a lot of Bills fans friends, take solace knowing that had he made the kick, the Chiefs would have come down and scored and won on a more heartbreaking fashion, I think.
Well, you think, how many lucky breaks did the Bills have in this game and they still lose? We have the fumble that's just bouncing around and somehow the Chiefs don't get that. We have the Chiefs who get the fake punt on 4th and 5 and somehow get no points. We get McCole Hardman 1st and goal from the 1, fumbling into the end zone. Allen had a drop pick. I mean, on the flip side, I guess Allen could have hit Diggs on that late one, but the Chiefs were almost 9 yards of play. It felt like, other than that one time in the fourth quarter, they really couldn't stop them, the Bills defense. I just didn't feel like the Bills did quite enough to win. Like they had explosive plays. How many do they have? 3 long balls, and they went over 3 in those, right? And they were just missing that one awesome kind of game tilting play. They just couldn't get it. And then they cut to the fans, and it's just like, are they number one? I know we do this because the Vikes are involved and the Lions are involved. Who's the other team? There's 4. And the Browns.
Cowboys. Oh, no. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Browns. Yeah.
The Bills have had the most of these. The Vikings have had approximately a lot of these, but it feels like the Bills have had the worst ones.
The Bills fans are the best. I mean, I don't want to fight it, but it wasn't even snowing, and they found snow to throw out the opposing receivers.
Yeah, did they bring their own snow? Were they bringing snow and igloos?
In the state? Did they hand it out to the fans as they were coming in? But it's terrible. And I was thinking, like, well, can't have the Lions and Bills fans happy in one day, right? It wasn't going to happen that way.
Right.
So, it sucks for them. I think they would have a lot of trouble next week, though. We'll get to that game anyway against the Ravens. But, I mean, he was, but again, if their offense looked so crisp in the first half, didn't you think this is going to be tough for the Chiefs to stop? And they really did hand it to them. They only gave up 7 in the second half.
Well, especially we were texting with the Wise Guys group about the Chiefs lost 3 defensive starters in that first half.
Right.
And at halftime, I had a lot of Chiefs stuff. I had the money line. I had the +2.5. I had them in teases. I had the 13-point tease that you guys made fun of all weekend that would. And I'm like, I would love to hedge this, and I can't. There was just no way. The Bills were up 4 at halftime. And I'm like, all right, got to ride out the Chiefs. It ends up being, they run 76 plays, and Kansas City runs 47. Buffalo has the ball for 37 minutes. Kansas City has it for 23. But the difference, KC is 7.7 yards a play, and Buffalo's 4.7. And that 4.7 was at like 6 and just kept getting worse and worse. They kept getting
that was
stuff.
Mostly first half. Yeah. And the Chiefs,
I'm not even sure what the Chiefs figured out.
Chiefs without the kneel downs is almost 9 yards. It was like 8.5 or something.
Yeah.
But it was, I don't know. It was an exciting game. I don't know. Like I said, the third quarter and fourth quarter with a little cat and mouse where I feel like too many people were blaming the refs. I'm like, okay, how about somebody make a big play here so it doesn't come down to the refs? Wouldn't that be nice just for once? But it stinks because Allen is he's the man. Like he really carried that team in the first half. Again, I'm going to keep mentioning it, but it really looked like they were on their way to putting this thing away.
I agree. He had a very good game. At the same time, there were a couple of plays he did not make in the second half that I bet when they look at the tape, he's going to be kicking himself. I think, we were saying all week, this is the biggest game of his career in a lot of ways. He's got to get over the KC hump. He's got to beat Mahomes in a playoff game. He's going to be the big winner out of this. Peter Schrager and I talked about this Thursday. It's like, all right, Good Morning Football, 7:01 a.m. on Monday morning. What's your lead topic? Is it, oh my God, Mahomes? Or is it, oh man, Buffalo, oh man, Josh Allen. And that's what it turned out to be. Allen's becoming a semi-tragic sports figure because he is one of the best players in the league and has been now for 5 years. And he cannot get over the hump. And he's just, these losses are starting to add up now. And he's right there. And it comes down to one play that they didn't make or one play the other team made. And it felt like all this stuff was lining up today. It was like, this is the game. It's like Hardman just fumbled it into the end zone. The dumbest rule in any sport where somehow it goes to the 20. This is it. This is your get out of jail free card. And they still couldn't, they're home and they still couldn't do it.
Yeah. And, you talk about your 13-point tees and everything. How much would you have hedged if I would have told you, all right, Bills are going to run for 182 and Allen's not going to throw an interception? I mean, he's perfect. I think he was like 12-0 when he doesn't throw an interception, right? Now, Mahomes didn't either, which was just a spectacular back and forth. The difference is like you kind of know what you're getting. Like yesterday when the 49ers had the ball down a few points with the last drive, they were a minus 160 favorite. Today, when the Bills had the ball down a few points driving to win, they were a minus 160 underdog or plus 160 underdog. Like, wow, how is that? You have the home crowd and everything else. Like, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. They figure it out one way or another.
That's good information, Sal. That's a good job by you.
There you go.
That's a good job by you, Sal.
I made up most of those numbers, but yes, thanks.
Well, it was interesting. What was the game we watched a week ago or 2 weeks ago? It was Indianapolis-Houston. When part of the final drive became about, we want to chew up as much clock as possible so they don't get the ball back. And it actually kind of fucked up the drive. I felt a little like that with the Buffalo drive near the end. It was like, 8 minutes. Can we string this out? How long can we kind of just keep grinding out and getting inside the 20 and making it, and just maybe Mahomes never gets the ball back? But they lost all their explosiveness. And then they took the one shot on Diggs and didn't get it. I feel bad for Josh Allen.
One more thing about Josh Allen, that was the best play of the game. Him rolling left and hitting Shakir in the end zone. That was spectacular.
He threw an absolute frozen rope, too.
And that was on 3rd and long, right?
Yeah.
So another play where you think, oh, my God, this is their year. This is their everything.
Well, first series, 3rd and 17, they get it. You think, like, all right, that's a nice start. Then they got that 3rd and 13. He did hit a couple of 3rd and longs. Would you say he's the second best player in the league? Like,
Josh Allen, second best player.
Throw MVP away, throw everything away. Just like, who are the best players in the league? And Mahomes is first. And I think Allen, would you have him second or would you put somebody else there?
Well, what about Lamar Jackson, who's actually probably going to make the Super Bowl?
Well, we haven't seen him even in a conference finals yet, though.
All right.
So you would have Lamar Jackson over Josh?
I put Lamar over him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably fair. So Josh is third?
A couple of Cowboys linebackers, but yeah. Yeah, I think he's good. He's good enough to get third right now.
I was thinking of I was trying to figure out if there was a rivalry championship belt that got passed over the last however many years. Because right now it does feel like it's Mahomes Allen. I don't feel like it's Mahomes Lamar. Maybe that starts next week. But before that, it was Brady Mahomes.
Oh, yeah.
And then I had Brady Goodell. That was a fucking phenomenal 2-year rivalry. That was awesome. Brady Manning until Manning finally started to deteriorate physically. And then what Brady Manning really is, it goes back to, I would say, 2002, 2001 range. Then it gets weird. I had trouble figuring out the early 2000s, late 90s. I thought Barry and Emmett was the best rivalry of the 90s in a lot of ways. OJ Nicole, a lot of people would have that one.
Nice.
There was Marino, Montana, even though they only went against each other in the 84 Super Bowl, but they were always they were the two. And then Elway was kind of over here as like this one-man wrecking crew. But we always felt like Marino and Montana were just kind of slightly higher. What any other rivalries?
I'm trying to think because, I mean,
Jerry Rice and really nobody, right? Like there was nobody who sniffed Jerry Rice during his peak.
It's weird when I thought about this yesterday because they said the Packers and 49ers have met each other, 10 times? That's the most out of any teams facing off in the playoffs. I'm like, is that really arrived? Do you remember any huge? I know there was a big Favre.
There was the Terrell Owens one. The Terrell Owens. That was a good one.
That was a good one. Yeah. All right. But other than that, I don't know if it's a rivalry, even though they've met each other so many times. Cowboys,
or we
Redskins,
might just be old and we might not be able to remember games.
Yeah, that's it. We don't remember anybody.
But Mahomes Allen is clearly the game now. And this is very similar to how Brady Manning went, where the Pats, the first few years, the Pats were winning those. And it turned into, that's when I was writing my column and I was doing the whole Brady's, what, should I do my own voice? Brady's Bill Russell and Manning's Will Chamberlain.
Let me try.
An invitation to myself. Go ahead.
Brady's Bill Russell and Manning's Will Chamberlain. I think you got to go deep. You got to
go deeper, but more
resonance.
Okay. I got it. All right. Thanks for the advice. But then all of a sudden in 06, it flipped and Manning came back from 18 in the 2006 AFC title game. The difference is the way this Chiefs team is built. Like the Pats had a lot of, all of a sudden he had no weapons that led to the 07 Pats team. This KC team feels still is like pretty sustainable because of Mahomes' age, because of his ability to just make, whatever work with anything. Kelsey would be the one variable, but he looked pretty good today. I'm sure they'll go get some receiver. They'll have some draft picks to do some stuff. Buffalo, on the other hand, I think there's some salary cap stuff with them. Does McDermott come back now?
It's a weird year, right? Because everybody was calling for his head and Dorsey got it instead of the defensive coordinator. It's weird that all went on this year, right? Still. But I think he comes back. I think they got him for another year. I think the players like him enough, so...